Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. So is this the time where you say to Aubrey, let's go for 70 yards?
We'll see. It all depends on the situation.
What do you think about that atmosphere up there, just from your time as being a coordinator and being a coach in this league, kicking in that atmosphere and the environment and the altitude?
I mean, it changes it for sure. Obviously, the ball carries a little bit more. How much more? Just we'll see. And then obviously, wind plays a factor and all that stuff. So, we'll see. I think the altitude itself affects people differently. As far as like the body, but it's a game. We go play.
Todd.
You
go.
Scott went last night. We're having some.
Did you guys take tickets like at the DMV?
Yeah,
Now 136.
Nick Harris, former Star Telegraph. Getting Turpin back last week and seeing his production. What was the benefit in the return game overall?
Say that again from the start. Sorry.
Turpin getting.
I was picturing the DMV there, and I got a bad flashback. Yeah, Turpin the return game.
Yes.
Oh, it was great to have him back. Obviously, first time back. We're doing all we can to get him, to pop one. You feel like he's close as he's tiptoeing on the sideline. It's just us finishing our blocks and sustaining our blocks while still staying clean with our hands so we don't get penalties. So it's just the push and the effort of, how bad we got to finish and stay on our guys so Terp can find a seam and finish and go as far as we can go.
Yeah, Brian had a lot of big punts on Sunday as well. Do you guys take pride in looking at opponents' starting field position and
Yes.
trying to back that? Is that a special team status?
It is. We've got multiple goals, each week that we want to hit. It's the same every week, but one of the main ones to me, because that's really for winning the game, you want to, give a short field for our offense, give the long field for our defense. So net, punt, and kickoff drive starts big. Whether that's how the return goes, penalties factor into that. We forced a couple of them on the kickoffs a couple times, so it started them, inside the 20 a few times. That all factors in because to us, it's all about that, helping our team win, which is those hidden yards and gaining first downs and preventing first downs on the kicking side.
Nick Sorensen with ESPN. When this is Brandon's first game at Denver, does he go out early and kind of find different landmarks or what he's aiming at and things like that? Or is that just, hey, there's a goalpost and I just put it between?
Yeah, he has his process. I mean, I don't think he changes because it's altitude. He'll feel how he feels. We'll talk briefly before the game what he thinks, as far as his line. And then, usually sometimes, depending on the situation, we can usually add to it or whatever. But we talk about it before the game, before every game.
And then obviously much is made of his ability to kick, but having Anger and Sieg and having them together for multiple years, what do you think that does for a kicker?
Oh, it's huge. That's a part that I think people are starting to realize, and I think, that was one of the first things when I got here that Shadi had talked about was keeping that unit together and getting all those guys signed because they work so well together, having that rhythm and the confidence in each other. They work really well together. They push each other, and they're all really competitive to be the best at their position, but also to be the best as a group, as like a specialist unit. Like they take a lot of pride in that.
And then always have to prepare for the unforeseen. How much do you work? Who's the backup snapper? Who's the backup holder?
Actually,
things like that?
we actually do that every week. So we do have, it starts out with, hey, have you ever snapped? Have you ever punted? Have you ever kicked? And then we kind of have gone from there. And now we have our emergency stuff pretty much set up, and we work on that every Wednesday, and guys get a couple post-practice.
Ferguson said he's a good punter. Has he told you that?
Yeah, he can punt. I mean, if we need to, you hope it doesn't get to that because that's really two people getting hurt, But he can punt. Hunter's really good at a lot of the specialist stuff. Lepke's like an emergency guru specialist. I'm not kidding. Hold, snap, punt, kick. He's a lefty. But, yeah, we kind of put that in place. You kind of have to think. It's kind of like having an emergency quarterback. It's not something you spend a ton of time on, but at least it's not the first time if it does happen, which will happen once every decade in the entire NFL, that at least you've done some work that they wouldn't freak out in a game if you needed it.
John Machota with The Athletic. Jonathan Mingo was talking the other day about how, when you're not a starting receiver, you're going to have to help on special teams. What does he have to do on special teams?
Yeah, we've been working on just different roles for him. He's big, he's fast, so those are all qualities and elements that are really good for football, especially in special teams. So I think the matchup that he can have is good. You can put him on big guys, he can run with little guys. Those are the type of guys that you like for special teams because they're able to do multiple things for you.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. 4th and 11, I think. Washington 49, early 4th. You're up 44-22. Could have been a record field goal. How much did y'all talk about that, if at all?
It was quick. I think at that time it was smart to just go ahead and punt. I think that was that was a decision. I think it made sense for the situation.
And that's a game management thing, right? Don't want to create some kind of opening here unnecessarily.
Correct.
Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. Shotty was talking about some of the guys making plays on special teams. Ryan Flournoy, Brevin Spann forward. Blake Davis had a nice tackle. Long story short, a lot of offensive guys. Is that historically normal, you think, to have this many offensive guys making tackles and plays like you guys have on special?
Not that I've been around. Not with that many guys doing it. But like you said, Brev and Malik stepped up, finding out he's playing, and he went out there and in my book he had 3. I think he might have had 2 in the NFL, but I'm a little more lenient on assists for guys than the NFL maybe is. But Brev's been producing, Hunter's been producing. I think we've also had a lot of injuries on defense, so some of our guys defensively aren't out there all the time. But really as a unit, the guys have all bought in. Anytime someone's been asked to step up, like Elijah Clark, he keeps showing up at gunner, kickoff coverage, protection on the other side when we're in our return game. So it's just the guys take pride in it. And I think it starts with our leadership. We're talking about our specialists, but also guys like CJ and Wanye and, how they are working in the locker room and behind the scenes with guys. They're always helping them. They're always coaching them. And that's kind of unseen stuff that keeps our guys, producing.
And Turbin had a couple, he had a big one where he took it down the sideline, had another one where he kind of immediately said, let's go down the sideline. Obviously, directional kicks kind of dictate that, but how much for a returner like that is it like, hey, I just got to take the bird in the hand here and sprint down the sideline versus, let me take it up here and hope that I can try to break one.
Yeah, and you're right, and it's a fast decision too. That's why you have a guy that's got good vision. He can make those breaks, and he's trying to make the blocks right, and he's working off those blocks because there's it happens quick with them being 5 yards apart that they're on each other, and then it also helps that he is dangerous, that they want to get it even closer to the sideline, that then they hit one out of bounds, and then we'll take it to the 40 all day. So there's a good threat of him back there. That adds to it.
City Staples, DG10 Sports, Brandon Aubrey has this cool as a cucumber kind of persona, if you will. When he's lining up to take these kicks from 60 and beyond, are you sitting on the sideline that cool as a cucumber as well? Are you deep down nervous, or do you have that confidence in him at times?
I have a lot of confidence. It's I think the whole team does. I'm looking at the operation, and I'm just looking at protection, making sure everything's sound pretty much on every kick. But we don't send him out for something we don't think he can make, and he's been just really, really consistent with it. So it's definitely a lot more calming than I've been in past situations.
Is there a ceiling you put on what Brandon Aubrey can make it from?
There's probably one. We have, you kind of add to it, and we talk about it each game, depending on how he's feeling and stuff like that, and he's pretty specific with it. But there's like the game. I don't know if I say it's like the game juice, and like that affects him too. He's a competitor, in the game he feels like he can. That's why we don't really practice 70-yarders,
Christy Scales, Cowboys Radio, 105.3 The Fan. Denver's also returning Mims, the local kid, literally down the street.
Right.
Yeah, and obviously his numbers are stellar, but what do you see from him that he's earned all these accolades?
I mean, he's explosive. He's got long speed. He's got vision. He's got good contact balance. I think he's tough, but he's got speed. But he's also, while he's running, if there's, some teams might set up a wall return, he doesn't just blindly honor it if there's, a cut for him to have. I just think he's good at a lot of different situations, whether it's kickoff return or punt return.
Babe Laufenberg, 105.3 The Fan, Cowboys Radio. I know it's Brandon Aubrey Day here, Nick, but so he kicks one obviously out of bounds.
Yeah.
There's a guy, put him back 60 yards, goal post could be like 6 feet wide, and he's putting it through. And I kind of equate it, pitcher throwing 100 miles an hour, he's hitting the black. Bunt, he's got a 50-foot throw, and he throws it into the stands.
Yeah.
So he's got all that room to work with. What happens in that situation where, he just, is he too fine with it?
I think, because you're also not trying to, he's kind of moving into it, if you see his approaches aren't always the same as he's approaching the ball, and he just kind of took a different angle and he just got a little bit too wide on it, and it kind of got outside of his foot a little bit too far. As he explained it after, kind of got off his toe, so he just kind of mishit it. But you're right, you don't see those necessarily as much on the field goals. But I think part of it is there's an approach to it, to where he's starting head up and then kind of moving into his kick. And that one just got off a little bit.
Patrick.
Hey Nick, Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. Big, strong, fast. That's 3 keys for being a good special teams guy. Shamar James was a key special teamer at Florida as well. That's one of the reasons you love him. That's because of what he brings. Last game, he was 1 defensive snap short of playing 100% of the defensive snaps. But he played a third of the special team snaps for you. What's those conversations like between you and Eberflus as far as mitigating his workload to make sure that he can remain durable, for an entire season?
Yeah, so with certain guys, I can put them in for one phase. Like Marquise is, if he's, they'll keep him on punt. Or there's certain dudes that I would still be using for one phase. We just happen to have a lot of kickoffs. And at some point, if it happens again where we have 10 kickoffs, I'd probably give him try and rotate him and stuff. He is young. Obviously, your age matters. He's a younger guy. He's a rookie. And you're not running quite as far in a kickoff. But we can always, we'll monitor that always in the future with guys. We always check them out in the huddle. If guys need one, we give them one. So we always have backup players that are ready to go. But that was really those snaps from just being on kickoff because we had so many of them. Yep.
Anything else?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.